What's up, my dudes? Eli Flowmac. Alrighty then, boys. Tomac and Kawasaki finally put Tomac's works parts back on his bike. So, yeah. We got the old Tomac back in the second moto of the third round of the 2021 Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Outdoor Series. Yeah, so this is pretty bizarre. I had to come in here and at least talk about this a little bit, right? So we went from Slomac to Flomac, and I don't want to take credit for any of these names because none of this shit came from me. A lot of people has like commented these names and stuff like that, but I just think it's kind of funny to use in a video. So yeah, whoever you are out there that came up with all these names, I appreciate you. But yeah, so I just want to talk about, I've been hearing the craziest things ever about this shit. Like, some of you guys was literally talking about Tomac, like Monster and Kawasaki, literally taking the works parts off of Tomac's bike as like a punishment for leaving Kawasaki. Dog, you really think Kawasaki is going to take the works parts off of Tomac's bike and make him look worse right as soon as he leaves Kawasaki to then make himself look better whenever he goes to Yamaha or whatever he's going to? Really? You really think that? Is that going to help sell Kawasaki's? I don't think so. No. I promise you right now, the last thing Monster and Kawasaki wants is for Tomac to look bad right as he's leaving Kawasaki, because then that's only going to make him look better whenever he goes to some other team, right? They're all about selling bikes. So what Kawasaki really wants more than anything is for Tomac to look at his absolute best on the bike. You know, the Tomac that all of us remember, Flomac flying around the track, fastest speed guy out there. They want him to look like that on that Kawasaki so that when he leaves the team and goes to Yamaha or whatever, if he's not doing as good, it's going to look like, oh man, the Kawasaki 450 is better, right? So that's going to in turn sell more Kawasaki's in that sense. Of course, these bikes are not anything like the bikes that you buy, right? But still yet, doesn't matter. It sells bikes. People like to see who's winning, right? So if Tomac goes to Yamaha and he sucks ass or he just looks worse than his amazing Kawasaki riding, then it's going to make Kawasaki look better. So that's a load of horse crap. They did not take the works parts off of his bike at all. Another big thing I was hearing a lot of people saying was, or asking was like, why was Kawasaki wanting to get rid of Tomac, or were they the ones wanting to get rid of Tomac? I think it was just really, the whole reason they split was really just a political, probably money was involved in it as well, right? It's not just trust me, nobody wants Tomac to leave their team right now. Nobody wants that. Why would you want that? There is no team out there that would want Tomac to leave their team right now. That's stupendous, bro. And I think it was more of like Kawasaki wanted Tomac to stay, but Tomac is leaving because of some sort of reason. Like I say, I don't know if it's money. I don't know if it's politics. I don't know if they just couldn't come to an agreement, but it wasn't like Kawasaki didn't want Tomac anymore. Like, I just don't think that at all. So either way, we finally got to see Tomac in his true form. And the craziest thing about all this is even Tomac himself in the interview was like, man, I couldn't even tell you what's been going on. I have no idea. And even when he did really good in that second moto at High Point, he was like, man, I couldn't even tell you. Just got back to my old self out there and raced really good. Got a good start. He did get that, but like, and to some people that I keep seeing a ton of people saying stuff like, well, Tomac's just in a little slump, kind of like Roxon's little slump that he got in at the end of Supercross. Dog, don't sit here and act like Tomac's only been in a 4 or 5 week little slump, dog. Like, he's been in a slump this whole year. You really can't deny that. Tomac has not looked the same even all through Supercross. Like, it cracks me up when people act like it's not like this, something big going on with Tomac. They act like he just goes in these little couple race slumps and he'll just come out of it. It's like, bro, this has been going on the whole year. Yeah, he had a couple of good Supercross races, but still, he's not looked anything near like he looked the previous 3 or 4 years before that, right? And then we get to outdoors, he don't look nothing like he's been looking the past 3 to 4 years. Some of his worst results he's ever gotten in outdoors in the 450 class. I'm actually think it's like some of his worst results he's ever gotten on the 450 in the start of the 2021 Lucas Oil Pro Motocross National season. So, but it's not just a couple race slump, guys. He's been in a slump all year. Like I'm saying, something is going on. That's why I keep, talking about Tomac. What the hell's going on with Tomac, Flomac? Because it's not just a 2 or 3 race thing. Yeah, he may come out in the next round and win both motos, but that's what you expect out of Tomac at this point. Like, he's a motocross guy. He's more known for motocross. It'd be like saying, well, Ricky Carmichael gets a 10th in 4 different motos. He's just in a slump. He'll pull himself out of it. Like, what? No. We're not talking about just a pretty good pro motocross racer. We're talking about literally one of the greatest outdoor speed-wise motocross racers we have ever seen. So for Tomac to get 10ths and shit for like 4 motos, and then get a 5th in the 5th moto, it makes no sense. And then the second moto of High Point, he comes out there and looks like the Tomac that we know. Like, he ain't even trying, and he's just looking completely different on the track than anybody else. He was jumping over that little like double down the hill. A lot of people, pretty much everybody else, was just smacking into it, and he actually found a way to double over it. It's probably like a 2-second a lap thing right there that he was saving time on, or at least a second. But like, when he gets to going, when he gets to flowing, Flomac, like, he just goes around that track in a way nobody else can right now out there. Reminds me a lot of Villapoto, reminds me a lot of Stewart even, just he's on that whatever, that little extra little 1%, extra little 2% above and beyond everybody else. He just looks totally different when he's in that Tomac, Flomac zone, looks totally different. So it's bizarre, but even Tomac said, like, yeah, he did get a good start, but like, dude, there's been plenty of races this season. He's gotten a decent, 5th place start, and he still couldn't really bring it back up to the front. Even in Supercross, there was a bunch of races he got where you would get a 5th or a 6th place start and only work his way up to like 4th. There's so many races this year that has been like that. So you can't just blame it on bad starts, guys. It is just weird. I don't know if I've ever quite seen this kind of thing before. Yeah, people normally get these kind of results when they're injured or they do something to themselves, but like, Tomac's obviously not injured. I mean, you could tell by the way he rode in the second moto at High Point. He ain't injured. So I don't really know what to tell you. I mean, it's just bizarre. I've never seen anything quite like this before. You just can't explain it. That's the thing with Roczen. He was going through a lot of weird, not necessarily injuries, even though he does have a lot of big injuries that he's had that's probably still nagging him. I mean, good Lord, he can't even hardly, you'd never ride the same after the arm injury that he had, but, he had whatever weird health condition that he was having that was causing him to not be able to make it through late in the series and late in the motos and stuff. He's been having that going on for like 2 years now. So there's all kinds of weird shit like that going on with Roczen that would explain his weird little slumps that he gets in, but there's really nothing there to explain why Tomac, he's on Monster Energy Kawasaki, the same bike he's been fucking whooping their ass on for 4 or 5 years now. And he just showed it right there in the second moto at High Point. That's exactly the Tomac that we all expect to see in every single race that he races in. So he's still got it. The bike is obviously capable of it. He's obviously capable of it. He just wasn't nowhere near doing it. It's bizarre. The first 4 motos this outdoor series, it was like he was 10-20% off of what he should have been. Not just 2 or 3%. He was like 10-20. He was a 10th place guy. He was a 10th place guy, bro. The first 4 motos. So either way, I guess the old Flomac has got it back. I don't know. There's no telling how this season's going to go. My personal prediction is I think you're going to see Flomac at a certain moto and Slomac in another moto. And then you're going to see Slomac in this moto and then Flomac in that moto. I think that's basically the way it's going to go for the rest of the season. I don't think you're just going to see Tomac go on like a 20 moto win streak. I really don't think you're going to see that. I know a lot of people probably do think that, but I don't think so, man. Something's just funky. Like, that's the way he was in Supercross, too. He would get that super Tomac speed back in a certain race, like Daytona or whatever, but then he'd go right back to this weird fifth-place dude. So I feel like that's what's going to happen in outdoors, too. Like, he'll have his Flomac brilliance here and there, but then he'll just go right back to Slomac and get a 10th place or a 7th place or something like that. So I think he's already basically out for this title, man, unless he just never loses the Flomac for the rest of the season, and maybe he can do it, but man, it's going to be tough. But yeah, either way, definitely let me know down in the comments what you guys think. Appreciate you guys watching all the videos. Later, dudes.